It's community reading day, it looks like, finally again.
Time being 6:06, I'll call the Oxford School Committee meeting to order. Today is March 12th. Before I begin, I am going to ask our school community, our town community, to please keep the Spitz family in their thoughts, regardless of what your faith may be or your belief. We have a very close family to this school community who is suffering right now a tragedy with their son, Eric. And Mr. Spitz served 2 terms on this committee. The Spitz family is a very, very well-known family in this community. Their outreach for students has been something that is something we all can take a lesson from, and now it is our turn to take care of them in our hearts and in our prayers. So please keep the Spitz family, their son Eric, in your thoughts, and as we all continue to pray for the best outcome for Eric, who is a father of two very young children, I believe 2 years old and two-month-old baby girl. So in saying that, I will begin the meeting. This evening, we do not have any presentations or awards. We have no delegations, but we are going to begin with unfinished business, which is our 2013 budget discussion. If everyone could note for their calendar, please, that there will be a FinCom meeting. We've been invited to meet with them. It will be at our administrative building at 4 Maple for 7 p.m. on the 27th. That is also the day on the Hill that I think Mr. Peterson and I possibly will be attending at the State House. So if you could just note that on your calendar. Does anyone have any comments or questions for our 2013 budget? I do. I'm wondering, Mr. Matthew, if our rent that we pay to the town now for our space over on Maple Ave, I know that the line item has fallen under the school committee. Is there any way we can separate that out as stand on its own line item? We can do that?
Sure.
Is that a vote of the committee to switch that over?
I'll just allocate and create a new account number.
Where would that fall in? Would it go into,
It would be just another contracted line item within the budget. So, right, bear with me one second.
I'm just wondering where we would find it. Would we find it under, with the superintendent and the school committee lines, or?
It would still be in the same spot. Right now, it's under other expenses. 5601 is the account number. We'd basically have a 5602 type of account number.
Okay.
It would still stay in the same section where it is, but it would be separate, and it would clearly say lease of property,
Lease of property?
or something along those lines.
Okay. Are we hearing any changes on the town side in regard to our budget?
There's been no new updates since our
Nothing.
last school committee meeting.
And of course, we're still waiting for the state, and we'll be waiting for the state until after town meeting, until, things go a little bit backwards, unfortunately, with a municipal budget, but okay. So there's nothing else on the budget? All right, moving on. Our class size policy. You may recall at our last meeting, the class size policy was in review because it came up during OEA negotiations. We wanted to make sure that the policy also stood on its own, but the policy committee has made a small change. And I think everyone should have that. So I am going to need a vote of the committee this evening. I'm also asking if you would waive the first reading. Anybody want to jump in here?
I move to waive the first reading and accept the policy as written with the
Okay.
new edits.
Do I have a second?
Second it.
Thank you. I'll call for the vote, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, 5 affirmative. This is now revised from the March 2012 to March of, it is revised to March 2012, sorry about that. And it is approved. Thank you very much. And Mr. Superintendent, Melissa can put that into our policy manuals, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Under new business, I'm going to go out of order here and ask our Vice Principal, Mr. Nugent, to come forward. Mr. Nugent has some very good news that he'd like to share with us, and we're always welcome to good news.
Thank you for inviting me.
I don't, minutes. Yeah, afternoon. I've got my draft, so I'm a little out of order. Thank you.
You have in front of you now the details of a grant that we applied for back at the end of January and found out last week that we were successful in being accepted. The grant is a supplementary support to school districts with high concentrations of at-risk students. It runs from approval until we get the money until the end of August. The purpose of this grant is, again, it's federally funded. It's a competitive grant, and it's used to provide supplementary support. I know that's important with the budget. We cannot use this to supplant anything at the high school. It's used to create new programming for at-risk students. It provides at-risk students with academic, social, behavioral, nutritional, health, and fitness and other program opportunities known to mitigate the potential for academic failure, delinquency, and/or dropping out of school. The fund can be used to initiate effective programs targeting at-risk behavior and preventing at-risk students from dropping out of school. The way we wrote this grant, we looked to have stipends for a dropout prevention coordinator that I will talk about a little bit later. Also supplies and materials, and including a out-of-school nutrition and health-related membership. To be considered at risk, there are many factors, but some included are being pregnant or a parent, having a drug or alcohol addiction, previous contact with the juvenile justice system, being at least 1 year behind the expected grade level for the age of the individual, and having limited English proficiency, being a gang member, being a former high school dropout, or having a high absenteeism rate at school. And the amount of the grant is $20,000. $10,000 is going to be earmarked for our dropout prevention coordinator. This person will help us, administration, faculty, and guidance, to identify at-risk students. They will work one-on-one and in small group settings with these students to help ensure their academic success. They will communicate with key stakeholders, including, again, parents, teachers, guidance counselors, and administrators. They will provide students with assistance in the areas of academic achievement, college awareness and readiness, and school success, which would include attendance, behavior, personal and social issues, and life skills. More specifically, our dropout coordinator will coordinate and supervise academic support and credit recovery classes. They work with students to investigate educational options and explore career goals. They will identify potential at-risk students, including working with 8th grade guidance counselors to identify incoming at-risk students for next year. They will evaluate attendance for these targeted students on a daily basis, and they will keep administrators and guidance informed of potential problems or unusual events. And They will also maintain accurate data records and case management files, because we will need to do a progress report in August for the success of this grant. $5,000 is going to be used under instructional materials, which will be able to purchase roughly 40 credit recovery programs for these students through the Keystone School. That's a program that Sutton High School is currently using, and they're finding great success with that. This will help our students either to graduate or get back on track to graduate with their class. To incorporate the health and to help students, to promote healthy habits and to help students in fulfilling the state-mandated physical education requirements, we are going to also purchase a Nintendo Wii system with all the physical fitness software to go with that. It'll give students an alternative program. A lot of our students who are not successful in gym don't feel comfortable either changing in front of people, they don't feel comfortable performing in front of large groups. This will give them an opportunity to fulfill their credits in a more comfortable setting. In addition to the Wii system, we're going to be able to purchase 2 treadmills, 2 ellipticals, some exercise and yoga mats, and some light weights. We also thought to tap into some outside programming and not have to worry about gym memberships with regards to transportation back and forth, that we would look into purchasing some Weight Watcher online programs to help the kids, learn how to, maintain healthy eating habits, but also exercise habits as well. This grant is going to be used in conjunction with the grant we currently have in the amount of $12,000, which will offer programming this summer that will assist these targeted students in raising their MCAS scores and earning their competency determination, which is needed above and beyond graduation requirements for Oxford High School. So that is it in a nutshell. This is, I believe, my 3rd grant that I've written above the academic support grant, and the first one that was accepted. A lot of these grants, the money goes to the bigger cities with more at-risk students. So we have a lot of work to do. I'm going to meet with Mr. Matthew this week to make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and to get this program underway.
That's great. Congratulations. Very good.
Thank you.
Can I just ask, when you say you're going to have a coordinator, this, it seems like will be a part-time position?
Yes, it will, when we hire them, it will go until August 31st.
How are you going to put an ad out for this position?
Well, I'm going to work
Oh,
with
with
Mr.
Rich,
Matthew
okay.
on that. I'm not
Okay,
exactly
all right.
sure.
All right. Are we looking for someone to come into the district, or could it be someone already in place that takes this on maybe as a part-time job? Do we have any idea?
Well, I do have a few people internally in mind that I know would do a great job with it. But, it would have to be during school hours.
Okay.
So that they would have to either give up their current position, or we would hire a new person to come in
Okay.
to do
All
that
right.
as well.
All right, very good. Thank you very much. Mr. Peterson?
Yeah, your numbers all are in place, Mr. Nugent, I appreciate it. And the one question Mrs. Ennis just asked was answered temporarily. Is this a one-time, or is it a reoccurring?
They call it potentially reoccurring.
Potentially.
As far, they're not committing to funding it in fiscal year 2013. But again, at the end of the summer, I will have to write a progress report with the dropout prevention coordinator. And if we're successful enough, and if they do run it, it can be.
So there's no mandate, like a lot of grants, that once you get this, that we're forced to continue the program and fund it on our own?
No,
So
we can keep the equipment.
You keep the equipment, so the potential is, if we don't get another grant, it's a one-year situation, and the program would probably be dropped. Is that what you're saying?
We would not have to fund,
Well, I know
continue
what
to
you're saying.
fund
You're going to come
the.
to Mr. Himmelberger and want money to keep it going, but that doesn't mean it's going to be there, right?
Correct. This, right now,
I can
this
see
is
the
from now
daggers
till
coming
August.
from the left eye right now, but that's all right.
But, with the hopes that the government will find more money to fund
I
this type
understand,
of
it's a great program, and I hope that you can get this thing back and it is reoccurring for your benefit, but that's why with things tight, that 20,000 is a lot, but it's not.
Correct.
Would have been nicer if they could have thrown us 40,000 so we could do a little bit more with it, but
Correct.
that's not the case. And that was my other question. You already alluded to, we get to keep the equipment. How's this going to be handled? Where will it be stored so that it won't be, this won't be part of the fitness room or the athletic room, right? It'll be kept separately?
For the continuation of this program, it will be kept separately used just by the targeted students.
And we have a space for that?
I
Presently?
was looking, I haven't told Mr. Wells or asked Mr. Wells yet, but the space primarily, previously taken up by the special education office,
Oh, okay.
be right across from my office, it can be well supervised, and, you know, but I'd work with the maintenance staff and
Okay.
figure out the best way to do that. But it would only be used up until August 31st with the targeted students with the length of the grant.
We have to approve this, or do you have the money already in-house, or is it, I know we have to, you want approval, but,
The money is on its way. They
on its
said
way?
about 2 weeks. Mr. Matthew will get notification when the money is being able to be accessed by us.
okay, thank you.
Can I just ask a quick question? You had mentioned that Sutton High is currently in this program?
They're not in, they're currently using the credit recovery program.
Keystone School?
Yes. They
How
use-
long have they been doing that, do you know?
I know it's been at least 3 years, because our football coach is their guidance counselor, and we've talked at length about the program. So I know he's been using it for at least 3 years, maybe previous to
Has it
that.
been a reoccurring grant for them, do you know?
It's not their grant. Their students have to pay for
Oh,
the membership to it.
okay.
And this grant will provide our students with that fee.
Do you know how many they have? Any idea how many students participate?
I do not.
I'm just curious.
do
Okay,
not.
all right, that's fine.
And there are we're not tied down to this program. There are other programs out there. You know, if we find an online program might be more beneficial, we can certainly
Okay, all
look at that.
right, very good. Mr. Peterson?
You asked about students at Sutton. What are we potentially looking at students here? I don't think you gave numbers, did you?
Nope, I do have them. 1 second, please. I'll just read part of the grant
Roughly.
question that I answered. The student population that this initiative intends to serve ranges in age from 14 to 19 in grades 9 through 12. 10 of the students are 17 years old or older, and they're at least 2 grade levels behind their peers. 6 students are juniors and seniors who currently are in academic danger of not graduating. These 6 also have attendance and discipline issues. 20 students eligible for the program are currently freshmen or sophomores who are exhibiting the same traits as these older students. You know, some have stayed back in middle school, all are struggling academically and have issues with discipline and behavior. And I think some of the other details could be probably talked about in private, not to,
Yeah, that's fine.
so, but, yeah.
Just rough numbers.
Okay.
So you're looking at 30, about around 40 students then, approximately.
And with the academic support grant, that opens the summer program up to additional
Other-
students. Students who might have scored in the warning status in 8th grade or have yet to pass the MCAS at the high school. So, you know, for that type of programming in the summer, there'll be more students involved.
Anything else from anyone in the committee?
Move to support him, that's all. It's moving forward, it seems already, and everything's in place, and it looks like you're set with it, Mr. Nugent, so good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second,
Thank you. Call for the vote, please.
yes.
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 Yes, 5 affirmative. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your
Thank you, and
support.
good luck with the program.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, yes, thank you. All right, now we'll go back into routine matters. I'm going to ask for a approval of the meeting minutes for February 27th, please, regular meeting.
So moved.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion or corrections? Call for the vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, I have 4, 1 second. Okay, sorry, 4 accepted and 1 abstention. Those meeting minutes are approved. Thank you. And now I also have meeting minutes for February 27th executive session.
Move to accept as written.
Thank you,
Second.
thank you. Call for the vote, please.
Yes.
Yes.
4 affirmative, 1 abstention. Thank you. Those meeting minutes are also approved. I'm going to go to you now. Do you got to go? Okay. All right, now tonight we will hear from our student rep, Ryan Donovan. Go ahead, sir. Thanks.
I'll start off with student council. Just recently on Friday afternoon, our delegates to the MASC State Conference returned home. And from what I've heard, it was a really great program this year. There was a lot of information, 2 very, very great keynote speakers. And I haven't gotten a chance to hear everyone's take on it, but we do have a meeting tomorrow, so I'll be hearing how everyone enjoyed it and all the good things that they brought back to the council tomorrow. This past Tuesday, we had an assembly for Spread the Word to End the Word here at Oxford High School. And this assembly was run by student council as well as in part with Best Buddies. And the purpose of the assembly is to discourage the use of the word retard from everyday speech and language because of its potential offense to those with developmental and intellectual disabilities. So we had about, I think, 6 or 7 speakers that were students that had personal connections to students with disabilities, and they shared their story with the connections to those students as well as their reasoning for their belief in not using the word. And they all did a fantastic job. And we had a Special Olympics regional delegate there who works very closely with the state student council, and she had talked to me, and she said that of the schools that have major Special Olympics programs involved with their school, the unified schools, Oxford High School is kind of like the leader of them. We are like at the top of the Special Olympics. So it's really great to have someone tell us that, because it just shows how awesome our programs are doing here. We are starting tomorrow, we're starting a can tab drive for Shriners Hospital that we do every year, and that will run from now until the very end of April. Last year we had 75 pounds of can tabs donated, which when you have to weigh them all, it's a lot. It was great. It was about the same as we did the first year, and I hope to reach that goal and surpass it this year. We are also holding from now until the end of April a food drive of non-perishable goods to benefit the Oxford Food Shelf. 2 weekends ago, I know I've mentioned this in past meetings, a crazy group of about 14 student council members took a bus to Revere Beach to participate in the Special Olympics polar plunge.
Good for them.
And let me just tell you, 40-degree water in the middle of March is so cold. It is so cold. And it was raining that day. I mean, it just looked miserable, but we all had so much fun. And our program here, we raised $1,400 for our Special Olympics programs at Oxford High School. And together, everyone that participated that day at both Revere Beach and Nantasket Beach raised about $300,000 for the Special Olympics. So it was fantastic. And I will definitely be doing it again next year. And I encourage everyone that went, as well as those who didn't, and maybe some school committee members, to go and join us. You can stay in the chicken coop. On March 24th, the student council will be holding an Easter egg hunt and an Easter bunny. Not a breakfast, but the Easter bunny will be there for kids in grade school, and that'll run from 10 a.m. to noon, and the cost will be $5. And there'll be crafts and games and an Easter egg hunt, and the pictures will be taken with the Easter bunny. So it's a great event. We do it every year, and it's one of the most fun just because you get to work with the kids and see how happy they get around Easter. We are starting our preparations for the big spring CDMASC conference that's being held here on April 26th. This conference, it's something that not everyone can say happens in their school during their 4 years in high school, because you have so many different schools in the region that could be up for this this conference, and we were lucky to get the spring conference. And this is where the elections will happen for the regional officers. So it's a big thing, and we are so excited for that. We're working with the board, as well as getting all the preparations for everything, the food, the programs, the workshops, everything. It's coming all together really nicely, and it should be an awesome day.
How many schools participate with that?
I'm not exactly sure how many schools, but I know it's roughly 400 students that come, and so school should be pretty full
big
that night.
deal.
It's a really big deal, especially the spring one. And coming up in April, it's Autism Awareness Month, so we're going to be doing what we did last year for autism awareness and sell chocolate puzzle piece shaped pops for $1 at lunch. And last year we raised, I think, over $200 for our Project Dupe programs here in town. So hopefully we can raise that much money, and the pops were awesome. Going over to the Special Olympics, we went to the Special Olympic Games this past weekend at Clark University. We had 2 games on Saturday and 1 game on Sunday. We won 1 game and lost 2, but let me just say, as someone that was an assistant in that, it is one of the most rewarding things you can ever do. It was so amazing. It's even though we lost 2 games, like, just being there, the kids getting their medals, and just being able to do basketball, it was amazing.
You still won.
Yes,
Yeah.
everyone was a winner.
That's good.
So everyone did an amazing job. I'd like to extend a special thank you to Ken and Kara Stockhouse, as well as our assistant coach. His first name is Chris. I'm not sure what his last name was, and Mrs. Patty Ross for everything that they've done over the past few months. And next year we'll definitely be having our basketball team again. And as well as other teams, we are actually starting a track and field team here, and that's just getting underway like this weekend. So I'm getting more involved with that. And I believe in the summer months, we will also be having a bocce team. So that should be fun as well. National Honor Society, we are having a fundraiser. It's called Coins for Cures for the Boston Children's Hospital. And every advisory has a can, and they're encouraged to collect coins. And the winning advisories will get an ice cream party, and the top 50 advisories in the region will win tickets for Six Flags. So it's our first collection is tomorrow, and it's for a great cause again. So many things we do here for great causes in our community and in the state. Also had something else for National Honor Society. National Honor Society and the sophomore class here will be having a Party of Gold fundraiser on March 15th from 5 to 8 in the cafeteria. And this is anyone that's coming and bring broken or old gold jewelry that you no longer want, and a black and white copy of your driver's license. And we do receive a portion, I'm not sure what it is, but we will be receiving a portion of all the profits from that night. So they will buy any gold and large sterling silver pieces like flatware and tea sets and stuff like that. And the sophomore class and National Honor Society will be directly benefiting from that. And going over to our art classes, we will be having a field trip to the Scholastic Art Awards, as well as the Institute of Contemporary Art in Boston on April 5th. I believe that all students in the art classes are welcome to go, and it's first come, first serve. The itinerary will be viewing the Scholastic Art Awards at the Boston Transportation Building first, and then going to the Institute of Contemporary Art, which we actually did this field trip last year, and it was really nice to go on. Very informational, and it's awesome to see all of our. Well, this year we actually have 3 students' works in the Scholastic Art Awards at the Transportation Hall, and those students are myself, Kira Langren, and Anissa White. We all won silver keys for things that we submitted. We have honorable mentions of Jamie Broder, Nicole Dupuis, and Lisa DiCiani. And we also had nominees who were Eleni Evangelidis, James Higgins, Samantha Marcewicz, and Katie Stevens. And the three works will be featured in the State Transportation Building in Boston from February 13th to April 20th. I've actually been up there to visit them twice already, and this will be my third on the field trip. And I went yesterday to, Anissa and I went to get our Silver Key Awards, and it was a really nice ceremony, and it's great that we had 3 students win awards for that, because it's just so, if you're ever in Boston, I really encourage you to see it, because there's so many amazing things there. There's so, like, it's crazy what high school students can do. It's nuts. And finally, from Commander Maisley, the short fuse trip for the color guard to the Colts Neck in New Jersey didn't come to fruition. The cost-benefit analysis forced the decision to hold funds and save. Over the vacation period, 22 cadets and parents took a day trip to the Hall at Patriots Place, which is the Patriots Hall of Fame. Commander Maisley obtained a group rate discount tickets for all, and the experience was extraordinary. They had awesome historical displays with many interactive displays concerning the history and achievements of the Patriots, and an official let everyone try on a real Super Bowl ring, which is valued at $75,000. So those 22 students were holding a piece of history on their fingers. And they also found Oxford High School listed in one of the interactive displays listing all Massachusetts schools with fielding football teams. After 2 hours at the hall, the group split up to enjoy lunch at their restaurant of their choice, and they ended up at the Bass Pro Shops to test out their gear and play with the ranges and walk the Cranberry Bog Trail, and it was a really great day. And the unit offers their thanks to the Smolensky Millette Trust Fund, who provided some of the funding to help make this trip possible. Directors at the hall invited them back for return trips in the future. While at the hall, Commander met the educational director and learned how the Patriots organization hosts math, science, business, and science experiences for Oxford High School students, for high school students in areas such as stadium operations, operating and managing the Patriots payroll, determining how much food to order for training camps, and much more. And the info obtained on potential opportunity for OHS students to participate in full day-long mock World Economic and Trade Summit conducted at Gillette and hosted by the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston. Last year, over 500 Massachusetts teachers and high school students obtained invitations and joined in the event, which requires players to compete in an extensive preparation package. More information will be forthcoming on this possible special opportunity for OHS students once received by Commander. The 10th Military Ball was held on March 3rd at Wachusett Country Club with over 120 in attendance. The food was awesome, and it was a really fun evening for all. Mrs. Coonan, Mr. Peterson, and Superintendent Himmelberger and their spouses and 18 alumni were in attendance. The ceremony updated with another 700-year-old tradition of parading the beef to music while Wachusett's chef brought forth samples for Millball committee volunteers to test for serving, and the crowd really enjoyed it. The NJRTC Millball charity auction with over 20 major items raised over $560 for the Oxford Ecumenical Food Shelf. And the event was taped by Channel 11 and should be on the local access TV within the next 2 weeks. The day after Millball, Sunday morning, Commander and the Color Guard appeared for opening ceremonies at the 48th Annual Polish-American Veterans Communion Breakfast in Webster at the request of State Senator Richard T. Moore. The cadets met with Senator Moore and guest speaker, Army National Guard Deputy Commander Brigadier General Brian K. Balfe, as well as veterans from Webster and Dudley. They also witnessed 2 veterans be awarded Bronze Stars for actions in Vietnam over 35 years ago. And story and lots of color photos of the students at the event in last week's Webster Patriots paper. 14 cadets and Commander marched for their 13th straight appearance in the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade in Worcester yesterday. Oxford's Color and Honor Guard led second division of the parade and await word whether they earned any special recognition from the committee. The award winners list is not ready, was not ready at midday today, but are supposed to be in tomorrow's Worcester Telegram. The group received much praise from parade officials, Oxford residents, and NJROTC alumni, and the huge crowd. 11 of the 14 in their group made their inaugural appearance and said that they really had a lot of fun. And lastly, there's still no confirmation on the rescheduled date for the formal Navy inspection, and it's looking like the last week in March, when coordinated with the inspectors at Holy Cross, and everyone will be notified as soon as the date is locked in. And I know that I had a lot tonight, and I am done.
Good job. Very
Thank you.
nice job. Thank you very much, Ryan.
Good job, Ryan.
Go home and do your homework.
I will.
Okay, back to our agenda. We have before us the 2012-2013 school calendar. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Mrs. Ennis. As you can see, I have the proposed calendar for next school year for the committee's consideration, and much went into this, from professional development placement to the possibility of ending too early to conflict with MCAS. So, as you can see, the proposed first day of school, Wednesday, August 22nd, with teachers reporting on the 21st. Professional development days on October 5th and November 5th. Many districts, because of the expected high turnout, are not holding school on November 6th, which is the national election. Again, one change that we went back to was no school on Wednesday, November 21st, before Thanksgiving. Again, the final professional development day on the Ides of March, Friday the 15th, with the 180th day on June 12th, and the 185th on the 19th of June. As I had mentioned before, we went back into the archives to look at the number of snow days over the past now 11 years, and we have averaged slightly over 4 in that time period. So we felt that the 12th was the right time to end, as MCAS, I believe in high school science, are still going on the first week of June. So it made sense to end on the 12th, and then backing that up, given taking off on November 6th and 21st, created the start time of Wednesday, the 22nd.
The 21st of August then would be our opening day, when we have our breakfast and
Yes.
the day's morning events.
Yes, that would be the first day the teachers report, typically a meeting for all staff, and then the afternoon is the open houses for Barton and Chafee, with all students K through 12 reporting on Wednesday.
Any questions or comments from the committee? Mr. Peterson?
Yeah, I don't agree with November 21st, having a 3-day, the day before Thanksgiving. I don't agree with a lot of it, and to my dismay, unfortunately, I know you had to put a calendar together, but a committee was set up, Madam Chairman, to no avail. We never met, so this is coming strictly from the administration. And I still think that February vacation is a waste of time, and we could utilize it to our benefit. But that being said, I would request my name to be removed from the study committee, ma'am.
Okay. Anything else? No, this needs our approval or not? Anything else from the committee? We gonna hold this, or? Mr. Anderson?
I would like to hold it because I believe we were supposed to have a committee, and I was on that, and I'm one that was pushing to get rid of the February vacation. So I'd like to hold to get the committee and go over it.
Are you gonna be able to plan a meeting, do you think, or?
If we get the people, yes. I know I had a couple of teachers interested in it from down at Chafee School that wanted to be on it. I don't know if any parents ever got a hold of Mr. Himmelberger or not.
I don't think so. We haven't heard from anyone, no. No, we haven't heard from anyone. All right, then we will table this for this evening. Next on the agenda is the Freck lease. Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Much like last year, as you can see, the lease for French River is in its yearly renewal, and the terms and conditions were attached along with the monthly lease payment. And based upon the lease, the school committee needs to vote to extend the lease for another year from July 1st, 12 to June 30th, 13, and I would recommend.
Thank you.
I move to support, Mr. Fields has laid it out, the way the lease is, and the they maintain the building, the grounds, everything else. They do capital improvements, and I think it's to our advantage to continue to work with them because it is an educational foundation that was started, what, in 1980-something? 1984 to be exact.
Yeah, 84.
And we've had good working relationships with them. We get our teachers and things are able to go there. So I would wholeheartedly recommend continuing to keep them. They've done a lot for us for the building and for our staff and educational purposes here, working with us.
I have a motion on the floor.
Second.
Thank you. I'll call for the vote, please.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 affirmative. Thank you, Mr. Himmelberger, and you will let Mr. Fields know of the vote this evening.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. As everyone can see in their packet, it is time for the evaluation of the superintendent. This will be your form that will be completed. I would ask that you have this back to me in a confidential sealed envelope in my mailbox at the central office by April 9th. I appreciate that. And we will publicly review the superintendent at our April 23rd meeting. If you have it back to me sooner, all the better, so I can do the calculations. And if anyone has any questions on how to do this, or any comments or anything, please call me rather than an email so we can discuss it. I'd rather do it that way. It just works out better. It is one of the most important things that this committee does. It is a it is a performance evaluation, and it has let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4,
You said April 9th?
5, 6 different titles of what our superintendent, what his role is as he leads the district forward. So take your time with it, and I also always have let the committee know, please take time to meet with the superintendent to go through this either with him, have any discussion that you need to have. It's one of the easier ways to complete this task. It is time-consuming, it takes a lot of thought, but it is well worth it. And we've always had good outcome from our evaluations. Mr. Peterson?
This, I don't have the other ones in front of me. Are there any reductions in the original evaluation form, or how did this form come about then?
It's the same form.
It is exactly the
Yes,
same
sir.
form? Okay.
Yeah, same form.
I guess it's
If-
smaller print, I can't read it.
It is actually smaller print, and I think
Right.
Melissa can make it larger for you. I know I need it
Oh,
larger.
that's fine, I'm just looking at the size of the AB.
If anyone is interested in their old or past evaluations, please see Melissa at the central office, and she will get those copies for you if you need them. Okay, if you need to review anything that was done in the past, no problem.
Mr. Himmelberger said to make sure I read it right so he gets evaluated properly.
Okay, all right.
I'm not gonna
Font size.
Next on the agenda, we have something that has been not really discussed in great detail or at great length, but I think it's time to open the discussion this evening. We are elected members to a 5,000-member society of school committee people. We are the only elected members who are trained, and we do receive orientation from the Mass Association of School Committees. We don't receive any type of reimbursement for our mileage. We don't receive any type of reimbursement for all of the phone calls and emails and the cell phone use, like our selectmen may. The Board of Selectmen, each member in this community receives $1,000, and the chair receives $1,100, and they also have the option of health insurance. I am not looking to have any discussion in any of us receiving the health insurance portion. I would like to put forth, though, that we have discussion and possibly put on the warrant that the school committee members all receive a small stipend of $650 per school committee member and $750 for the chair. I have done a lot of research on this. There are school committee members in some of our cities that receive over $10,000 per year. Just to look close by, Worcester receives $14,500 per year for their school committee members. So I think a small amount of $650 is not something that is going to tie up our budget. It is something that should be considered. We all go to approximately 40 to 60 meetings per year. There are school events we attend, there are outside events that we attend, there are commissions and committees that we are on, some of us. There are many, many school events we all know that we try to get to as many as we can. We can't make them all, but we do a lot. We have negotiations that we're responsible for. I serve on the negotiation committee now with Mr. Peterson, and we are meeting twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week, to get our unions all in contract for this year. So it's something to be considered. I would like any thoughts on it. Is it something anyone's interested in? How do you feel about it? And if we could open up that discussion for this evening, I would appreciate it.
Is it retro for 21 years?
Yeah. For Mr. Peterson, yeah. We could try for that at town meeting.
Sure, yeah.
Richard's gasping.
Yeah, Richard, just have Mr. Peterson have his own line on our budget. Yeah, that'd be nice if it was retro. But I just, I think it's something that we should finally start to look at. We know that this board is about to change significantly with the changing of the guard, so to speak. The loss of Mr. Peterson, Mrs. Coonan, and Mr. Anderson is going to bring new members on, and I think that as exciting and as fulfilling that's going to be for them, I think that they also will understand that a small amount to help a little bit with the travel, and if you don't want the money, you can do whatever you want with it. You can donate it, you can put it towards your next election if you're going to run again. I'm hoping that we don't have to tie any obligations to this money. I know in Worcester you have to use a certain portion of your $14,500 for your reelection. I don't know how much it is, but there is a percentage tied to it. So, in Newton, they get I think it's 20,000 in Newton, 20,000 a year. Yeah, they get in Newton, so.
I don't take it even from the school committee.
And for this amount, for this amount, I think that it's something that we deserve. We deserve. It's not a lot of money, but I do believe that we deserve it as elected officials of this community. Mr. Peterson.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you by talking.
No, go ahead,
Mr.
that's
Anderson
fine.
had a question, and I'll clarify it for him and the public.
Yeah, go ahead.
Certain meetings that we go to, like the Cape, for convention and things, we're entitled to get reimbursement. I've never taken it from
I
the
never
Mass
have either,
Association,
right.
Mass Association of School Committees for those type conventions. There are things that we do for the town that we are entitled to that none of us have taken it for. But for a mile from my house to the school, it's more of a pain in the neck to put the paperwork in
Right.
than it is to
Right.
collect 75 cents. So normally, we haven't done it, but there are occasions where you can take it. And on the bigger occasions, to the State House and to convention, usually are filed through the Mass Association of School Committees, so it doesn't cost this community anything there either, okay?
Thank you. Anything else from the committee? Is it something you want to entertain? I mean, don't leave me hanging here.
Madam Chair, I've always wanted to entertain it for 20 years, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. We tried it once before to do it. Economically, I don't know where we stand and how much support we would get, but I totally would have to support you in trying to get something somewhere, somehow, sometime, whenever it takes effect. I don't know, it wouldn't affect me anymore.
I would say if this went on our town warrant, which closes on 3/28, it would be effective for our next year, for our next fiscal year. If Mr. Matthew wants to make any comment, he and I have had discussion on this about the impact to our budget, which we both agree is minimal. There's no significant punch here that's going to, knock us over, but I do think that this committee and school committees in general, I will say, are probably much harder working than some of the elected. It's true. We do a lot more than selectmen do when it comes to legislative work. We do a lot with our policy. Our policies that we set and all school committees set are a great amount of detail goes into that, and I don't think any policy book like a school committee policy book out there. The Board of Selectmen does not have a policy manual like the school committee, nor do city councils. So I will say that is one of the reasons, I'm tooting our horn because I think it deserves it, and I think it's long overdue. So in saying that, I would like to entertain a motion to at least have this put on the warrant, town warrant, for, which closes on 3/28. Like I said, no health insurance attachment to this at all. This would be strictly just a small stipend, and then bring it to town meeting for a vote.
Once you get a stipend, you're entitled to the insurance and things under state law.
Anybody want to entertain my motion?
I'll second it.
Thank you, I appreciate that, and I'll call for the vote.
Yes.
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 Yes, 5 affirmative, thank you very much, and we will put this on the warrant. Mr. Matthew,
For $3,300, I see him, can't complain.
thank you, I appreciate that. Next on our agenda, I did receive an email correspondence from Rep. Durant's office, and the roundtable, because we did have snowstorm, and they canceled that, has been moved to March 22nd at the Dudley Library for 6 o'clock. So everybody, that will also be posted, I believe, Mr. Himmelberger, as a meeting. Thank you. So we'll post that in case there is a quorum. There won't be a meeting of the school committee, but because we're all going to be in the same facility. Mrs. Ravelli, any?
Madam Chair,
Oh, yes.
the
go
Dudley
ahead.
Library is the
Yes.
old town hall, isn't it?
Okay, Rich is saying yes.
I believe, right?
Yes. Yeah,
What's
it
the
was
name?
reconstru- it was
Street or what is it?
reconstructed in the last couple of years.
Right.
Do you know the name?
Pearl Crawford Library?
Earl Crawford or something, right.
Pearl C. Crawford? Great.
I just wanted to make sure I had the right building. It is the old town hall, right?
Schofield
Great.
Ave.
Thanks, Steve.
Schofield Ave, right.
Okay. Mrs. Ravelli, can you tell us what's happening with your curriculum advisory council? It sounds like things are heating up and getting exciting.
First meeting is this Wednesday at 3:45 right here.
Excellent. And good luck with that. If I could ask the subcommittee for the vacations and the calendar, if maybe Mr. Peterson, Mr. Anderson touch base with Mr. Himmelberger to put those teachers forward that are interested, and if there are any parents, you know, so we can get that moving, and that could be a quick study group, maybe a few meetings, so we could get the calendar approved too, or make any recommendations. If we could do that within the next maybe week or so. We heard
Please
from-
call the central office.
I know, but you guys need to make the, get some dates together. We heard from our student rep. Mr. Hammelberger, you are up, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Ennis. Everyone has an envelope from Community Reading, and the committee is invited to read for our elementary students, I believe, on Friday, April 13th. And we look forward to that. It's always very enjoyable to meet those students a year or two later and have them recall the book that was read. So it